Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and come back for more. And let's get into this insane story time about an intruder that came into the house while I was home entirely by myself, totally alone, and it was really freaky. Okay. So on this particular night, I was actually staying at my in-laws' house and they were away on a trip. And my husband was also away for work, and so I was staying at my in-laws' house all by myself. My husband was due to get back that night, actually around like midnight or 1 a.m. And when this took place, it was probably around like somewhere between 10 and 11, I would say. I don't remember exactly, but that would be my guess because it was already really dark outside and it was kind of pretty late, and I knew that Eric was going to be home in only a couple of hours. I've drawn a picture of a rough layout of the house, like the relevant parts, so that you can get an idea of my movements throughout the house while I'm telling you this story, so that hopefully it'll make a bit more sense to you and you can, I guess, kind of picture it in your minds. Okay, so like I said, it's somewhere between 10 or 11 p.m. at night and I'm sitting on the couch watching true crime on like Discovery ID. I think that's the name of the channel, Discovery ID. So yeah, of course I was watching true crime when this happened. So I'm sitting there watching the show and I hear a noise coming from the back end of the house near where the back bedrooms are. And at first I didn't think anything about it because, you know, houses make noises, whatever. Because I was home alone at their house, earlier in the day I had checked the like perimeter exit / entrances to just to make sure that everything was secure. I'd done that probably around the late afternoon because I knew, oh, it's gonna start getting dark in a couple of hours. Just want to, you know, check the house is locked up nice and tight. So I had done a perimeter check of the doors and stuff and everything seemed fine. So when I heard this noise, I wasn't really concerned about anything. I just thought it was a noise. But then since I'm watching this show, I was like, well, I don't know, maybe I should check it out. I don't want to be paranoid, but almost everyone on this show that I'm watching wouldn't have been on that show if they had made sure that their surroundings were safe, you know? So I go to myself, okay, whatever, I'll go check it out. So I get up and I walk to the hallway and, you know, proceeding with slight caution, but I'm not really worried about anything at this point. So I get to the end of the hallway and I turn the corner, which is to face where the laundry door is, and it's open. And that struck me as odd because it was unusual. I was in a habit of making sure that that door was always closed. So there's a door that leads from the hallway into the laundry, and then on the other side of the laundry, there's a door that leads into the garage. When I saw that the door was open, I thought, okay, that's pretty odd. And I was like, is it possible? Like maybe I left it open? Like that's kind of weird, but maybe I did. You know, I had been in and out of the garage a couple of times that day because there was a secondary fridge and pantry in the garage. And so I would go out there to get snacks. So I probably went out there a couple of times that day to get snacks. And then also when I had gone into the garage so that I could check the door that leads from the garage out to the side of the house. So I had been in there a couple of times that day. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's possible that I left that open, that was me. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, I really don't think so though, because my in-laws were always really particular about those doors needing to be closed at all times, mostly because of the temperature in the house. In the wintertime, the garage gets really cold, so if those doors are open, it lets the cold into the house, you know, if you're trying to heat the house. In the summertime, the garage gets really hot, so if you're trying to keep the house cool, it's just gonna let the heat in. So for that reason, they would be really persistent that those two doors needed to be closed at all times. So if you go in there for whatever reason, remember to close those doors behind yourself, whether you're going in there or coming out. And if you forgot, you definitely got reminded, and I didn't want to get in trouble. So I was already in a really strong habit of always closing those doors. So it just struck me as really odd that I would have left it open, but I conceded that there was a possibility that it could have been me. Like maybe I was just being super forgetful, like, I don't know, and it slips my mind. So I go over to the door, and I know at this point you're all thinking, you're like one of those dumb girls in a scary movie that runs up the stairs, like run out of the house. Like, what are you thinking? I was still telling myself, don't be paranoid. Don't be paranoid. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it. You probably just left the door open. So I go over there and I go to just check the laundry room before I close the door. So as I'm opening that door that leads from the hallway into the laundry, the locked door that leads from the laundry into the garage becomes visible as I'm opening this door. So as I'm opening the door and I see the other door, it's open. The other door is freaking open. Not only was this door unlocked, but it was physically open. Like it was open ajar. And this door had a lock on it. So it would always get locked. Like it could be locked from both ends. So if you were coming back into the house, like you just naturally would always lock this door to come back inside. And this door was freaking open. I like flipped the frick out and ran. I tore down the hallway to the freaking front door, flung the front door open, and then all of a sudden I froze at the front door and didn't run out because I realized I was wearing a skimpy nightie and I didn't want to run out into the street and be one of those, I don't know, a crazy woman running in a skimpy nightie into the road and have all the neighbors know or something like that. Which I know is really dumb, and take my advice. If you think that there is an intruder in your house or you think that there is any form of danger present, doesn't matter what you're wearing, if you're wearing a towel or nothing, get your A out into the freaking street. I'm standing in the doorway freaking out, and for some reason, the first thing I do is whip out my phone and I call my parents who live in Australia. I live in the States. My parents live over 7,000 miles away in another country. I don't know what the heck I thought that they were going to be able to do to protect me in this situation, but that was just like my first go-to. So they rightfully so tell me to stop being an idiot and call someone in the same continent as me. So I call my in-laws and I tell them what's just happened. And my mother-in-law says, okay, go down the street to the neighbor's house a few doors down. I'll like call and let them know that you're coming and just stay there until Eric gets there. And I said, oh, I'm wearing a nightie. Like, I don't want to go to the neighbor's house. She was like, okay, there's a hallway closet. Go get a jacket out of the closet and then skedaddle on down to the neighbor's place. So I'm like, it's in the hallway though. So I get off the phone, I walk back towards the hallway, and I'm like, okay, you can do this. You can do this. Like the hallway closet, it's not even quite halfway down the hallway, but it was enough into the hallway that in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if someone were to suddenly appear or tear around from the end of the hallway and start towards me, would I be able to make it to the front door before they get me? That's what was going through my mind. Okay, so I reach the closet door, open it up, while I'm still trying to peek out to watch the hallway to make sure, making sure I got no blind spots. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the hallway while I'm grabbing for a coat. And as I'm like getting a hold of the coat, I hear a door slam somewhere coming from the back of the house. And so I'm like, no, like I'm not about this. So I literally just ran out in the street. At this point, I was like, yeah, okay. Like I don't care what I'm wearing. I'm running into the street. So I get into the street, and by the time I get there, I see the neighbor from down the street is starting to walk up towards the house because my mother-in-law had called him and asked him to come over. So I walk down to meet him and I give him a rundown of everything that just happened. And so then he and I walk back to the house. When we get back to the house, we don't immediately go and check the garage, which Would have been my first idea to go do that, but this guy wanted to check the rest of the perimeter first. And I was like, dude, if there's someone back there, we need to catch him. He's checking the rest of the house. We checked the back glass sliding door. It was unlocked. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, like this is messed up. Like I'm thinking, okay, this must have been an exit point maybe, because I had definitely checked all of the doors in the house, like all of the exits / entrances to make sure that they were locked. This should not have been unlocked. Finally make our way to the garage. We go inside and everything has been like knocked over. Like it's a mess in there. Like things have just been rummaged through. And so we're stepping over things to get to the back door, that like the door inside the garage that leads to the outside. And he checks it and it's unlocked. I had checked that door early in the day, but this door itself is a tricky door and it sticks. And I always had a lot of trouble with it, whether I was trying to lock it or unlock it. You have to like finagle it in just the right way to get it to either lock or unlock. And so I can only think, okay, maybe when I checked it in the daytime, maybe I thought that it was locked, but maybe it wasn't really locked because it is a fiddly door that sticks. Like it might have felt like it was locked, but wasn't. That's the only explanation I can come up with, because otherwise I don't know how you would unlock that unless they were like master lock pickers, which I kind of doubt it. At this point, like the evidence is mounted, all the doors seem to have been unlocked, and something's definitely gone on in the garage. Like someone's knocked a whole bunch of crap over, and I'm freaked out thinking, oh my gosh, there was someone in the freaking house while I was here in the house by myself. And so my mind starts thinking, frick, like, did somebody notice that I was here by myself? Like, was this just a bunch of teenagers trying to rob a place? Or did someone notice that I was alone in this house and retargeting this house? So my in-laws' opinion on it was that I was just overreacting because I was watching too many crime shows. If anything, the fact that I was watching crime shows made me underreact. I didn't immediately get freaked out because I thought, oh, it's probably just nothing. Like, don't want to overreact. I'm watching crime shows. Don't want to be accused of overreacting. Like, it could have gotten me hurt not reacting. The part that kind of pisses me off, to be frank, is that in the days after this happened, when my in-laws returned home and my husband was now home, like when I tried to talk to them about it, all of them, and honestly, I think it was like mostly my in-laws, and they tried to convince my husband of this, they were like, oh, it was probably just a raccoon or a possum got into the garage and knocked some things around. My experience and the fear that I felt was totally belittled by trying to blame it on being an animal. Like, I'll concede that sure, like those things could have been knocked over by an animal, but animals can't unlock doors and then close them behind them. They can't slam doors either. There were 2 doors that were physically open, not just unlocked, but physically open. And then the 2 of the perimeter doors were unlocked. That should have been locked. I know, I checked all those freaking doors. I checked all those doors, and then it's like, okay, was someone a master lockpick, or did they have a key? That's a disturbing thought. Sound off in the comments below, or please just tell me I wasn't being crazy. I hope that this insane story that happened to me gave you some kind of entertainment value. I feel like my entire life is just like a string of insane things happening. I also just seem to attract crazies to me. I've had so many run-ins with crazy people, which makes you think after a while, is it everyone else or is it you? It's them. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and like I said, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Please comment down below and say hi. It just makes me feel nice to know that you're watching, that there's someone out there. I mean, not in an intruder type way, but oh. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a lovely day, and God bless you. Good night or good day, wherever you are. Bye.